everyone, my name is Tiffany and this is my channel, Who's Your Handmade. Thank you so much for stopping by today. In today's video, we are talking about SoJO. We're talking about how you lose it and how you can get it back. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that you will consider subscribing before you leave. I would love to get to know you better and welcome you into the sewing community. And if you are already a subscriber, thank you so much. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your support. Thank you for showing up video after video. It means so very much to me. Give this video a thumbs up if you like this kind of content and leave a comment down below. We all deal with this topic. I feel like we all at some point have dealt with this topic of losing our SoJo and how we get it back. So let me know down below in the comment section what your favorite trick, what your technique to get back into the swing of things is. I would love to know down below in the comment section. So this has been on my mind for a while. I've been working on this video for a while, jotting down notes, things that bring me out of my slump, so to speak. But before I get into my tips and tricks for bringing your SoJo back, I want to talk about why it goes. Why do we lose our SoJo? So I obviously don't know your life, everything that you're dealing with right now, but I have indeed lost my SoJo a couple times this year at least. Life is busy, so let me just share with you why I have lost my SoJo a couple of times. The most recent case of lost SoJo in my life was because we moved. We had a major life event, we moved homes, we actually lived in our camper for a bit, and that was such a transitional period. It was crazy, it was chaotic, and while I did take my sewing with me in the camper, it just wasn't my jam, you guys. I wasn't in my space, I didn't have everything that I would have wanted around me, so I didn't feel like I was in the headspace to do a lot of sewing. So my SoJo kind of waned for about a month and a half while we were in that camper. I've also lost my SoJo when I went away on vacation. Once you step away from your normal routine in the sewing room and you go on like a vacation for a week or so, it's easy to lose your momentum, lose the get up and go that you had every day coming into your sewing room. Also, if you're ill, I've been ill a couple times this year and you just don't feel like doing anything, you can't make it up to your sewing room, or you just physically don't feel able, that's another way that our SoJo can kind of slip and we just don't get as much sewing time in, even as we want to mentally. Mentally, we may want to be sewing, but physically, we just aren't able. So when you get to the place where you're back in your sewing room, you have time, your physical body is able to do some sewing, what are some tricks to jumpstart that SoJo? So what have I used to help my SoJo rev back up and get back to where I was before? So I wrote down 7 tips and tricks that I use to help me get back on the sewing train. The first one is watch YouTube videos. Now, I started out watching YouTube a long time ago, long before I ever started my own channel. I was watching YouTube for not only how to sew, YouTube did teach me how to sew, but also for inspiration. I love watching sewing vloggers for that inspiration and that encouragement to keep sewing. So if you ever feel down, if you feel like, you know, your SoJo is just not there, turn on YouTube and find you your favorite vloggers, and hopefully that vlogger will inspire you and motivate you a little bit, even if you're just sitting in your sewing room. Sometimes I'll just come up to my sewing room and turn on a YouTube video, and just being in my sewing room with a like-minded video will help spark something for me. The next tip is such a big one, and I love doing this: playing in your stash. So that could mean pulling some fabrics off your shelf, that could mean pulling out your patterns, or if you have your pattern envelopes in a binder, pull out your binders, look through them, touch your fabric, actually actually experience your stash. Get touchy-feely with your stash, and a lot of times that will spark inspiration, that will spark motivation to want to pull that fabric out and pull that pattern out and give it a try. I love playing in my stash. It helps me almost every time. Almost every single time, if I actually take the time to go to my stash, I get instant inspiration. The next SoJo finding tip is to visit an actual store. Some of you might not have this opportunity to go to an actual sewing store like Joann's or Hobby Lobby, or even a specialty store like a quilt store, but try to find somewhere, even if it's the fabric section of Walmart, try to take a little time to just go to those shops. Now, maybe you're like me and you're in the middle of a buying ban, so there's no more fabric and patterns coming into your stash right now. That's okay. Go anyway. If you're okay with facing a little bit of temptation, go anyway and just be inspired by what's in the store, be inspired by other things that you see. A lot of times they'll have mock-ups made. Even in places like Hobby Lobby will have test garments created so that you can get some inspiration. Also, look at the fabrics. Look and think about what is in your stash right now. Perhaps don't buy it. Buy it if you want to, obviously, if your stash is small. But if you have a large stash like me, think about whether you have something already in your stash that could work for that. And inspiration comes through just experiencing the love of sewing through a physical store. Likewise, try window shopping online. Now, if you're not in a buying ban and you're in a place where you want to buy, that's very motivating as well. But for me, in my buying ban, just looking window shopping online for online shops has also been very beneficial, just like going into Hobby Lobby and Joann's. Now that I have a little bit more of a grasp on my spending and on my buying habits, I would not suggest doing this if you are not great with resisting the temptation, if you're in a buying ban and you're not great at saying no. But if you are, or if you can buy whatever you want, window shopping online or shopping with an online store can be really motivating. A lot of times they'll have a lot of test garments, especially like indie companies, pattern companies. They will give you a lot of body types that garment has been made for, and that's really inspiring too. And that takes me to my next tip. Look on places like Instagram. Get onto your social media, your Facebook groups or your Instagram, and see what others are making. Seeing others and their creativity really helps spark our own. So I love going to Instagram. Sometimes I just scroll through my feed, or sometimes I'll look up a certain pattern that I am interested in, and it's so awesome to see it actually made up on real people. Not a model, not just a line drawing, but actual people who are out there sewing just like you and me. So don't sleep on using Instagram for inspiration. My next SoJo finding tip is to make some sewing plans. Sometimes I've come up into my sewing room and I have time and I'm even motivated to sew, but I just don't have a clear plan. And I end up just kind of aimlessly wandering around my sewing room, getting nothing accomplished. So it's really helpful for me to pause at the beginning of the month or right at the end of the month and thinking about the next month, thinking about what I want to sew, what I would like to put into some plans, and that gives me something of a checklist. Now, some people are not list people, some people are not motivated by setting goals, but if you are a goal attaining person and that really helps you to see a physical list, let me tell you, setting some sewing plans is probably for you. Give it a try and see if it motivates your sewing for the month. And then one last tip for you for finding your SoJo is to go into your closet. Go into your wardrobe or your closet or wherever space you have your current garments and think about what you're missing. What do you go in there to reach for, but it's not there? Or you would like more of something? It's really inspiring for me to go into my closet and think, oh, I wish I had one more of this dress, or, oh, I'm really missing this piece that I would really like to have. That can be really, really helpful and inspiring to come back into the sewing room and think, you know what? I wanted that sweater to wear to this event. I don't have it. It can be really inspiring to take a look at what you currently have, find the holes, and set some plans, set some sewing goals off of what you currently need. Okay, so that is my 7. That's just what's helped me. There are so many ways to motivate yourself out there. Like I said, let me know down below in the comment section what you do to motivate yourself. I just want to take a second to say it is okay if you lose your SoJo. It is okay. It happens with everything, not just sewing. You lose your motivation and you have to find your way back, and that's okay. It is okay to take a break. It is okay to put yourself above your sewing. Always remember that, to take care of yourself above all. I hope this video has been entertaining, if not informational to you. Let me know down in the comment section, like I said, what you love to do to rev up your SoJo. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.